Welcome back, everybody. Two Chaps, many cultures on this Monday of Christmas week, episode 116. Welcome to the show of Business of Culture and the Culture of Business. And today we'll talk about, in the holiday spirit, how do we properly give gifts? And should we be giving gifts? And if so, how and what? And do we wrap them? Do we not? Do we say something? Do we add a card? And all these other things to consider. Stay tuned.
The gift of Monday. Welcome.
Yes. Welcome, Brett.
Every day is a gift. Every day is a gift. And especially every day comes with a nice big bow when I get to work with you, my friend.
Likewise. I'm returning the gift. By the way, Brett presented me with a gift earlier today, and I think you all should see it. Brett, am I allowed to showcase the gift you had for both of us?
Absolutely. Let's throw it up. Tyler have been decorating the Two Chaps Plaza, stringing lights and putting up trees and putting gifts under the trees. Absolutely.
That looks lovely. See, we're approaching this gift-giving episode from a fairly Western European Christian context, even though we're not in Europe and we're not streaming from Europe, but it's this, you know what I'm talking about, Western Europe, from this Eurocentric Christian perspective. The holiday season is upon us. It may not be holiday season for everyone around the world. However, for a lot of the people that are in our audience and a lot of the people that Brett and I work with these past couple of weeks and the weeks ahead are a holiday season of major importance and also connected to presenting each other with presents. So thanks for this present. Looks good. I like it. I like the way how you put it under the tree. That's very, very thoughtful.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to get into the holiday spirit. If it suits, if it's appropriate, of course. This has been fun. I just toiled away all weekend on this. Don't worry, but I mean, I do it through the goodness of my heart.
All weekend.
It's all weekend, right? It's all I've been doing all weekend. Wow. Yes, gift giving. Of course, we do. This is the holiday season in terms of a particular part of society around the world that sees Christmas as a season for giving gifts. Even our Jewish friends, Hanukkah is they get so many gifts. I mean, there's a gift for every day during this season. This is great, but
right.
So yeah, different cultures have different times of the year they celebrate holidays and gift giving, but it doesn't have to be restricted to just holiday times, right? You can give gifts and exchange gifts with your either your colleagues or your clients or the people, family, and any time of year.
So let's start with this. What would be appropriate occasions to give each other gifts? So now, could we talk about Kwanzaa? Maybe we talk about there's a certain festival in Japan going on in the December. I forget what it was called, so forgive my ignorance. But so there are certain occasions that we would have in this time of year. But what other events, what other occasions would justify giving a gift, Brett?
Well, if colleagues have got or customers have got birthdays, right? Is it appropriate that you do that? There are more solemn times where people lose loved ones, where it might be appropriate that you actually do show up with a gift to give somebody who's lost a close loved one. And that would obviously come through the protocol of the right thing to do in that situation. It could be a donation to a cause. that is brought up by that person in honor of their loved one. So, there's celebrations, there's also somber occasions. So it can be a minefield. And then if you're a global professional and you're running an organization in a global setting, just being aware of these, or taking the time to research the cultural background of the people you're working with and interacting with, can sometimes, we're not doing it out of just trying to I don't know, what are we? We're not doing it just because we think it's a good thing to do to gain business, right? We should view this through the sense of these are even done inside these cultures as not ways to curry favor, but to just respect the culture of the people that you're working with. So yeah, the occasions can be wide and varied for sure.
And it could also be, I remember, I grew up in a more Catholic context. In some societies, there's other reasons for gift giving. I remember when there's the name day, the patron saint's name day, there might be a present, or at some milestones in a person's adolescence or age maturing process, right? So there might be rituals, coming of age, mile markers that can be used as an occasion to present a gift, maybe a gift specifically tied to that event, right? So you wouldn't give like jewelry or any other material goods on a specific event, because that event requires it to be the gift needs to be tied to that occasion, right? So whatever that might be, we want to be cognizant of the context of the occasion, and familiarize ourselves with what would be appropriate as a gift, and is it might a gift even be viewed as inappropriate in certain contexts, right?
Right, absolutely. So, I mean, we've got some checkpoints here, right? So you're right. That's exactly right. Is it appropriate to give the gift? Is it an important ritual or practice in a culture to give and receive gifts? Sometimes it's not. It's not it's not expected, but in other ways, it's actually really appropriate to do that. And so it's an integral part of business. It's an integral part of doing social networks and things like that. So you've got that to kind of just consider, right? I think your point, just to get back to your point about the names day in the Polish culture that I have now one foot in, that was surprising to me, because it was actually far more important than the birthday in that setting. Yes. Right? It is the day, right? It's a day that we celebrate the name of, and it is tied to the patron saint, and it has a religious background, but it is tied to even people that don't maybe practice the faith. Still like to celebrate their names day, right? The 21st birthday in Australia is a huge event. It's a party that's kind of like a coming out for the young person into society, right? Here, I've noticed in the US, 21st birthdays, they kind of come and they go, and it's not like nobody really puts a special emphasis on that, right?
They are legal to consume certain adults.
Well, they are, right? Yeah, that kind of is that stepping stone, but it's not in Australia. It's 18, so they've already been doing that for 3 years, technically. So they've had
for 3 years, and so
absolutely, yeah.
Then there's so since we're bringing this up, certain gift giving traditions tied to events that may happen in certain environments and not in others. I was reminded after moving away from Germany that the tradition, when children have their first day in school, when they enter elementary school on their first proper day in school, in Germany, it's a tradition to give the children a gift. And it's presented in a certain packaging. It looks like an elongated cone, and in that cone, there's all sorts of stuff. And you do this anywhere outside of Germany, people look at you like, what the heck's going on? So the context, the protocol matters, right? Names Day, as you said, in some cultures is more important than the birthday. We talked about this earlier this month in the Alpine region during December. There is a Names Day of Saint Nicholas, whose hat is shown on our decoration here a little bit. So that's a name day that evolved into a gift-giving tradition beyond those with that same name. It evolved into something that is applicable to a wide variety of people in that culture, right? So mind the protocol, familiarize yourself with the traditions on the annual calendar, and do some studying. As you might remember us talking about, cultural intelligence begins with knowing. Well, it begins with your interest, with the drive, with your curiosity, and then the next step would be to accumulate the know-how around it. So what's happening? What may I be missing? What blind spots do I need to illuminate?
Absolutely.
What would be the next part? Policy.
Well, then, of course, we have to make sure that we know the policy, right? We know that some countries that have laws are either the law of the land, and it could be related to taxation. Some gifts, some places when you give a gift or receive a gift, you have to state this. You have to. It is a benefit you receive. So to do that is important to maintain, your credibility and your stature in the legal sense. But also even some companies, they might use these as references to put in place some kind of policy and procedure inside the company that states that it is inappropriate to even give a gift at all, or if you do give a gift, that it is very small and doesn't show that there is any way, shape or form that there is any favor being carried between either colleagues or between vendors and suppliers and receivers of those benefits. So, these are important to do. Places like the US, that would be a place, right, where a lot of policies are in place to govern and restrict, or at least put a framework around what's appropriate. So that's important to check. Yeah.
And while we're walking you through these bullet points or these things to consider, let's hear it. As you're watching this live or the recording, share with us what was one of the most surprising gift-giving traditions you've ever come across, or maybe share with us a gift that came unexpected, was either a pleasant surprise or maybe a challenging surprise, or where you were maybe caught off guard or on the wrong foot when it comes to gift giving or receiving. It's not just about the giving, it's also about the receiving. I have a story later.
Absolutely. What about the appropriate time and setting? Is there a right way? Like, I was surprised the other day to find out that it's kind of not viewed as the most appropriate thing to say happy birthday to someone before their birthday, right? So that seems to have shown up a lot in the past few days, and I've said, yeah, that's kind of like me too. And I went, really? Yet we're trying to get ahead of ourselves, and in some cases, and think we're doing the right thing, but sometimes that's not the case at all. So the setting is appropriate. The time that you give the gift and the time that you receive the gift, it could be, again, getting back to the protocol. Is it necessarily to do it in the office, right? If you're giving it to a colleague or a client, is it, or should you do it outside of the office and things like that? So it is appropriate to,
So setting, to me, that also includes who gives, right? Is it which person has the privilege or maybe even the obligation to give a gift for let's say a birthday? Do I expect to be receiving a gift from somebody that is a coworker? Do I expect to receive gifts from random friends or from friends at all? Or is it relatives? Or so who gives is I think part of the setting as well. I was surprised, and I caught myself also this year and in previous years receiving a gift from somebody that I did not expect that they would present me with a gift. It was a small gift, but regardless, the gesture was what mattered to me. And I recognized in me that I was almost reluctant to receive it. I said, you shouldn't be giving me some, I thought, this was my mind chat, right? I didn't expect you to give me anything. So you're doing it anyway. So I'm not really sure, is it okay for me to accept this? But if I don't accept it, I'm going to be insulting you. So, but what does this mean for me in the future? I need to now find out when is your day of honor. So I need to have something for you in return, because receiving implies to me reciprocity. So there's already this chain of events unfolding in my mind as I'm being presented this thing, right? Like, okay.
Yeah.
It caused a moment of discomfort combined with surprise, pleasant surprise, and gratitude that this person would think of me that way, even though I did not expect it at all.
Yeah, no, that's right. So is the obligation to reciprocate? That's the big question. In places like China, that's what I loved about China. I mean, you love it and you kind of, it's frustrating, is that, you know, who catches up with who, right? There is that. And these are only small little, you know, offerings between people that do business together, but it is honoring that kind of give and take. It's the best way I've always seen it described is like a bank account. You know, you're depositing into that bank account, into that idea of a bank account, in order to kind of earn interest on that. But the interest comes in the reciprocation of not just business. It's not the expectation that this is that I'm giving you a gift, so therefore you need to honor me with the account or the order or whatever. But it is just between two people who are looking for some win-win benefit, and that win-win can be, even if you don't do business together, that win-win can be through the expression of the giving and receiving of gifts. So this is kind of like when you're giving these, clicked on the wrong one, the symbolism of these gifts, right? Consider, and this is always, what do we say? It's always great to have a cultural concierge, especially in business, in cultures where you really are not aware of the symbolism of some of these gifts. In China, getting back to the China, scenario, so many gifts can be seen as a negative indication of how you perceive the relationship, or just, you know, if you might think in some cultures we give watches, for example. You know, they're a wonderful kind of idea. You know, I mean, they can be an expensive watch. Yeah.
Received this for my birthday. Wouldn't be a good gift in Asian cultures. Asian cultures would not be a good gift.
No, not a good gift. You know, if you're giving money, the way you give, the amount of money you give, the way you give it, should it be just kind of some old notes you pulled out of your wallet and give it to them? No, it should be crisp, clean, brand new notes, right? In certain denominations, in certain totality of the amount. A nice letter opener. You know, who opens letters now? Who gets letters anymore? But I mean,
from you. I got a letter from you.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's right. And did you open it with a nice letter opener? I don't know, but you know, who uses letter openers?
It's right here.
Yeah,
it's got a Rotary Club symbol on it.
See, symbolism of that in China is that it's you know, it's like a knife. It's like the indication: are you severing our relationship? So the symbolism of gifts is interesting to me. You know, just being cognizant of that, so that, you know, these are just simple things that, yes, I mean, your colleagues in these cultures might accept the fact that you might not understand, but they will notice even more if you take the time to get an appropriate gift that has the right symbolism about it.
Well, and symbolism can also not just be the gift itself. It could be how you package it. Do you wrap it? What color of wrapping material are you using to wrap it? Are you using a specific folding technique? So gift giving in Japan and Korea are fraught with landmines if you don't do that right. Do I fold it this way, that way? Do I put a ribbon on, or do I not? And as I am receiving it or handing it over, is there an expectation that it will be unwrapped, unpacked in the presence of the giver? Or do I unpack it in private or outside of the public eye? All sorts to consider. Or is a casual presentation perfectly all right? So this past Saturday, I met with a few friends who were unable to attend my birthday party. So they had a gift for me, but they also included a gift for my wife for Christmas. So it wasn't a gift for me, it became a gift for me and my wife, and this is how they packaged it. Well, perfectly okay in an informal relationship like we have with these people, or in an informal culture like the ones that we're living in. Would that be inappropriate packaging in other parts of the world? Doubtful. But
Right.
both sides knew this is okay, right? But if you're not 100% sure if this type of presentation, this type of symbolism will serve you or will actually constitute a gift that will be well received, if you're unsure about that, yes, a concierge or somebody who is an expert in that cultural context would help you quite a bit to avoid gaffes or gifting gaffes. Now, is that a beautiful illustration of gifting gaff? Don't do gifting gaffes.
Say that 3 times fast.
Gifting gaffes.
So what about the actual process of giving a gift? Which hand do you give the gift with? All right. South Asian cultures, right? Maybe not the left hand, because just be cognizant of it's the same thing when people eat. They eat with the right hand. So this is, so these are, again, small innocuous things that we don't even think about in this day and age of the Western kind of mindset, where we're just kind of giving gifts and we're just handing it over to somebody, and it just depends on what side they're on. These are small things in our mindset. In other cultures, they're very, very important. Yeah. And the other thing is that what happens if you go to give the gift to somebody and somebody says, oh, no, really, please. Yeah, that's unnecessary, right? And but that's kind of a norm in some cultures. Say, right? Yeah, how many times? constantly saying, no, please take it. No, I couldn't possibly think. No, please, no, right? Like the Irish show, Father, not Father Brett, Father, I don't know, whichever one it was. Where
some Irish father, yeah.
The lady says, you'll have a cup of tea. No, I don't want to have a cup of tea. Yeah, we'll have a cup of tea, and then she's asking until finally they break down, and, culturally, that's what's expected. Multiple invitations, multiple refusals, so there's kind of dance, right?
And then as you celebrate these holidays, so whether you're celebrating some of these major holidays we mentioned in the beginning or not, but we suspect many of you might be familiar with these holidays that are happening in December right now. When do you actually give the gifts associated with these holidays? I learned later in life that there is no consensus around that. There is no common tradition, right? It may be the same holiday in my culture's tradition, Christmas, but the day or the time of day of handing over, presenting the gift is totally different. In my upbringing, in my family, and everybody else that I grew up with in Germany, we receive and give the gifts of Christmas on Christmas Eve on December 24 towards midnight. In North American culture and many other Anglo-Saxon cultures, it is the morning of the 25th, right, Brett?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I always got up in the morning and opened gifts at Christmas time. Now, with the way we practice it, the gifts, we kind of do it both ways. We have that kind of Christmas Eve celebration, the traditional Polish way, where people come and they, you give gifts and you open gifts on Christmas Eve. But I grew up just doing it on Christmas Day. You just, you went. You got up in the morning. You were excited to see what you got under the tree in the morning. Yeah, yeah.
And in many, oh yes, Sue. This year she hopes only the delivery person is handing her gifts. Okay, well that is a justifiable concern, right?
Absolutely. They hope when they do it, they don't do the old basketball shot onto your front porch from about 20 yards away.
No, they don't do that. And
good crystal.
my family and friends were all tested. So just to keep everybody assured that Christian is not doing any frivolous, unresponsible things, even the surprise party that my wife organized for my birthday, she had everybody tested before they entered the room. So we're good. I I remember in Canada, UK, I don't know, maybe Australia too, there's this tradition of giving gifts to people who work around the house or who are service providers on Boxing Day on December 26th, right? So
Yeah.
there's that different date. And then many Mediterranean cultures and some Eastern European Orthodox Christians, they prefer to give the Christmas gifts on January 6th, which is the day of Epiphany, when the three wise men came allegedly to, well, according to the Bible, I think the number of wise men isn't quite clear, but the wise men came to Bethlehem, to the crib, and presented gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and that is basically the biblical reason for giving gifts around the birth of Jesus. So a lot of Christian cultures reserve the gift-giving piece not to Christmas Day, but to 2 weeks later on Epiphany. So dates depend on which culture you find yourselves in.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of wise men, should we consider ourselves wise men, or should we really just poll the audience? The best thing is, I think we should consider that the audience is the wise people, or are we? Can we at least offer ourselves, in some context, some element of wizardry? Is that's not the same thing? That's like we may not be wise, but not full of wizardry. I don't know if that is.
Well, I'm a wise crack, if that suffices. That is for sure. That I'm a certified wisecrack. And when we talk about wise men, I'm gonna mess with the Christian symbolism a little bit. I know for some of you out there, this may be heresy, and forgive me, I'm doing this tongue in cheek because this was one of my favorite birthday presents this year. My family knows that I'm a big fan of the purple one of the artist known as Prince. So they gave me one of those Catholic-looking graveyard or church candles with His Holiness, the Prince, the purple one on it. Even the wax is purple. So that's the true wise man in my house right now.
That's the wise man. The wise man. He who shall be honored. Absolutely. Well, that's great. So, yeah, we'd love to hear from you. What do you like to get as gifts? When do you like to get the gifts? How do you like to get the gifts?
Tell us, Fred, so we know what to send you.
That's right. Chris, we're raising funds for our, when we open up the gift giving wing of Two Chaps Towers, that we stock it with the appropriate gifts, so that when people come and visit us, we're able to kind of go into the vault and get the right appropriate gift. So we need to know. I mean, it's just part of our business. What can we say?
We've just been. It has just been proven that now we are wise men, that we have wise women in our audience. Yes, thank you, Sue. It's a votive candle. Thank you. Thank you. You're perfectly right. You're so much wiser than we are.
A votive with a motive. That's what it is, right?
Yes.
That's what that is.
So tell us, your wife's not listening. Is she? What did you get your wife for Christmas? Huh? Will you get vultures?
Not telling you.
No. We're not.
Yeah, she will be listening at some stage. Might be next year, and then to say Anyway, so that's what it is. Please tell us. We'd love to hear, and that's about it for a Monday on this Christmas week. Where kind of some people are. So we will be here every day. By the way, we will be the gift.
Just our gift to you.
The gift that keeps on giving, like the shiny penny, the bad penny that keeps turning up. We will be here every day, including Christmas days. So might be a little full, we might be a little sleepy, but we'll be here.
There you go.
Absolutely.
So this was it for Monday episode, what was it, 116? Well,
116. Yes.
We'll all see you tomorrow. And Two Chaps, Many Cultures is out for now. However, we're going to keep this decor up for the rest of the week.
Yes, absolutely. Keep the decorations. Absolutely. I think this is a good thing to start. We're going to honor everybody's holiday. We can all kinds of decorations, so I probably made a bit of a bed for myself, but that's all right. I'm happy to toil through and put up decorations for everybody.
Every weekend.
Maybe tomorrow will be Hanukkah. I don't know. I need to research that. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Have a good one. Cheers.
Bye.